Welcome back. Well, Facebook's quasi-independent oversight board upholding the ban on President Trump's Facebook and Instagram accounts. But it did note that an indefinite ban was unreasonable without further explanation, giving Facebook 6 months to comply. Former President Trump responded to this decision, saying a statement, quote, "What Facebook, Twitter, and Google have done is a total disgrace and an embarrassment to our country. These corrupt social media companies must pay a political price." My next guest is calling the ban social media's silence of the lambs moment. Joining me right now is the Hill media reporter, Fox News contributor, Joe Concha. Joe, great to see you. Thanks very much for being here. What do you make of this?
Well, I think that big announcement that we were hearing about yesterday at 9 a.m. Eastern time was as predictable as death, taxes, and the sun rising in the east. Because why would Facebook, Maria, or Twitter ever allow President Trump back on when you consider all the campaign contributions to the Biden campaign? When Facebook's business is so good, you think about this, the stock, if you look at it from 1 year ago today, is up more than 100 points. That's more than 50% in terms of the rise in business. So things are going very well on that front. Same thing with Twitter as well. So, you know, they're a private company. They could do what they want. Their membership is way up. In Facebook's case, they have 230 million Facebook members in the U.S. alone. That's about 70% of the population. So while I hear that there's going to be this huge exodus by conservatives from social media like Facebook, like Twitter, it doesn't appear to be happening. And they're going to keep doing this because, again, they have their guy in the White House. And to let President Trump back on at this point, or if he runs in 2024, will only help him, obviously, in terms of getting his message out to tens of millions of people. And these social media companies have proven once and for all that they are publishers and activists and biased activists in that matter, and serve at the pleasure of the Democratic Party, Maria.
Yeah, I mean, look, they are. It's obvious where they stand on everything. You say they've got their guy in the White House. Yeah, not just social media, but media in general. I mean, look at this agenda. You've got sky-high taxes coming. You've got sky-high spending plans. They actually underestimated the cost of the family's plan by $700 billion. You've got wide-open borders. You've got, you know, job killing, like killing the XL pipeline, all because they don't want to look like they're agreeing with President Trump. And yet, look at the coverage, Joe. President Biden has received 5 times more positive press coverage than President Trump in his first 60 days. This is from the Pew Research Center. Shows that Biden has only seen 19% negative coverage versus 62% negative coverage for former President Trump. And, of course, that coverage was all around the big lie of the Russia hoax, that he somehow colluded with Russia when he first got to office, which was a made-up story by Hillary Clinton. We know that now for sure. And yet Biden keeps getting all this positive coverage. What do you say?
Yeah, the Russia coverage, you remember President Trump's first 100 days, it blotted out the sun. And you would see outlets like CNN or NBC giving 93% negative coverage to the president. New York Times, Washington Post following suit around the 90% level as well. Even saw a Media Research Center study that showed that 59% positive coverage was going towards President Biden. So when you look at that comparison, 90% negative for Trump, 59% positive for Biden, that's something like a 150-point swing, right, from one direction to another. And here we have, to your point, it's never been more important for our press to hold the powerful accountable than at this time, because we may be going through a transformation in this country, the likes of which we have never seen since FDR. With all this additional spending that's being proposed or already passed, $1.9 trillion in COVID relief that had very little to do with COVID, $2.3 trillion in an infrastructure bill that has very little to do with fixing roads and bridges, and then this family plan that the Biden administration, Families and Kids, I believe it's called, plan, is about $2 trillion as well. So we're talking $6.5 trillion in additional spending on top of what we've been spending already, which is way over budget. And you would think that there'd be a lot of scrutiny around this, but that doesn't appear to be the case, because these bills are being presented as COVID relief or infrastructure relief, and yet very little to do with those things. And we rarely see the onion peeled off in terms of what's actually in these bills. And that's up to the media to do that. And most of them are just looking the other way because maybe they have their guy in the White House, Maria.
Yeah, they do. That's the thing. Well, we've been honest from day one on the Russia hoax and everything else, so our audience knows that. But Joe, it feels eerily like the Chinese Communist Party to me. I mean, the censorship from media. Now, the Chinese Communist Party wanted our vaccine secrets. They're going to get them because Joe Biden is blowing off intellectual property rights for pharmaceutical makers who made the vaccine. We're going to waive the intellectual property rights. Really? Your reaction real quick before we jump.
No, sure. Look, for everybody who says, well, I hear a lot of Republicans saying, well, we'll just break up these social media companies, for example. Well, when you have a Democratic House and a Democratic Senate and a Democrat in the White House, and they're benefiting because they're probably the best super PAC they've ever can dream of in terms of the Twitters and Facebooks and Googles and Amazons of the world, that's not going to get broken up anytime soon, because why would you injure your biggest ally, Maria?
Right. That's right. Joe, great to talk with you this morning. Thanks so much. Joe Concha joining us.